And this is still a country where roughly half of people are staring openly at a movement that is anti-democratic, that flirts with fascism, that talks about dictatorship, and about half of Americans, I think at this point with some amount of clear eyes and knowing what they're choosing, are saying, yeah, that.
Even if Harris wins, we will wake up the morning after with close to 80 million people endorsing Donald Trump's anti-democratic view of America.
I deeply agree with that. And the problem with elections is, I mean, they're so important, and there's a deadline that everybody's always focused on the immediate thing. And what you described in some ways is the real work, because, as you say, you know, we have a technology for getting rid of bad leaders, right? And it's called elections. If you have 80 million people who have now had 8 or 9 years of exposure to the authoritarian offerings of Donald Trump. This is not a new thing. They've seen the ups, they've seen the downs, they've had him as president, like they've kicked the tires, they've gone for a very long test drive. If at the end of that 9-year arc, we are essentially still now a country where 80 million people want authoritarianism, you're right. Winning an election is not going to resolve that. It's going to keep it at bay. And I think there need to be people who are not immediately focused on November and who are freed from that work, who are thinking about the generational challenge. This is a 30-year bit of work. This is an organizing challenge of a generation. You know, I blame leaders, but you can't really blame your fellow citizens in a democracy. You have to work them. You have to invite them into a vision that is more compelling than what they're being attracted to. I believe that very deeply. And right now, 80 million of our neighbors and uncles and aunts and people you went to high school with and people you are in a family with who you see at Thanksgiving every year, 80 million of our people who we share a heart and country with want authoritarianism, want this kind of white nationalism, and we have to win them back. There is no long-term strategy to save this country but winning them back.